Hey everyone, this is Michael with the general reading intended for Sagittarius Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for the month of November 2020. I want to wish all of you who have a birthday coming up a blessed solar return. I do hope that this one is special, even if it's a little bit different this year than I'm sure many of you are used to, and I have no doubt it will be one that you remember. I am so curious to see what we have in store for you this month, Sagittarius. For those of you who are not aware, the astrology is very interesting, very dynamic. I do have the astrology blog linked down below, as well as all of my other links for personal readings and Reiki sessions. I might be taking some time off this month, but those links are available depending on when you are watching this right now. And I do want to kind of go over the astrology a little bit here, because there is a lot that is going to be happening this month. I realize that not everyone is interested in the astrology, so if someone would be so kind as to leave a comment with a timestamp down below, that would be very appreciated, and that way you can just jump straight ahead to the cards. You do have an eclipse in your sign at the very end of this month, so that right there should tell you that there is a big transformation that is happening in your lives, Sagittarius, regardless of the changes that are happening in the collective, and we can be sure there will be a lot coming to the surface there. There's also going to be some profound implications for you this month, and really for the rest of the year leading into 2021 and beyond. So definitely be aware of what is happening, even with the full moon that is happening right at the end of October, on October 31st. It is being joined with Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus is the Great Awakener. And there's a lot of information that is going to be coming through, especially when Mercury goes direct in the sign of Libra. And that is going to actually, for you specifically, it may be pertaining to your social networks or your friend circles. You might be getting a lot of information from them. And honestly, Sagittarius, this year has been particularly challenging for you with the South Node in your sign. There is a lot of lessons that might have been coming up for you. And it's just been a tough year for everybody, but I think especially for Sagittarians, I'm kind of feeling that as I'm tapping into your collective a little bit more. And I do feel like there's also a lot that's coming to the surface for you subconsciously this month. As we are entering into Scorpio season, there is going to be a lot of illumination, becoming aware of patterns, and maybe ways that you have sabotaged or held yourself back. And as we are coming into your birthday, we are going to really be seeing a lot of new beginnings for you. And this is if you have a Sagittarius sun, but this does still apply regardless of where your Sagittarius placement falls. You're probably going to be feeling this big shift that's happening for you, especially with this lunar eclipse on the 30th of November. We do also have Mars that is going direct in your fellow fire sign Aries. That is actually affecting your 5th house, so your house of passion, creativity, dating, and there could be just this rebirth that's happening for you, a lot of passion that's re-sparking for you this month, or maybe even a lot of frustration that is kind of erupting, and that's going to be more for the collective, but do keep that in mind, that there is a lot of tension that has been brewing for quite some time, especially this year. And even though we've already seen kind of the lid get blown off a few times, I think we're going to see that in some pretty big ways before the end of the year, for sure. And even looking at kind of the election season, no matter how this falls, there's going to be some sort of eruption of some kind. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting. And to be honest with all of you, the way I've kind of kept my peace about this is it's stuff that just has needed to happen. And we might not see that on the ego level, we might not see that on the human level as we're sort of living through it. We don't want things to be the way they are, but it's just come to this point. And what we are about to head into is kind of a crescendo of all of that energy that we have been dealing with. What's really interesting, just kind of skipping ahead to December really quickly, we do have a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that is happening at 0 degrees in Aquarius, and this one is very, very special. The reason being that Saturn and Jupiter will conjoin or come together in the same sign every 20 or so years. It's actually happened a couple times this year already, I believe. And what's happening is that for the past 200 or so years, they have been coming together in the sign of, or in earth signs. So in Capricorn, in Virgo, in Taurus. Now with this movement into Aquarius, for the next 200 years we're going to be entering a cycle where Jupiter and Saturn conjoin in air signs. And this has been kind of the shift into a new cycle that we have been feeling. What's really interesting about this energy is while there was this conjunction that was happening, I want to say at the beginning of the year, they were just in their orbit. They were getting very close to each other in March, which is right around when the lockdown happened. There was a lot that was happening that really was resulting in big shifts in power. And I think that's still going to be happening throughout the next few years for sure, especially with Saturn in the sign of Aquarius until 2023. But I think the way that this is really going to be affecting you, specifically, it does talk a lot about your mind and the way that you're looking at things and kind of changing your own perspectives. You might be switching social groups over the next couple of years. You might be seeing a lot of change with your community or the people that you are identifying with, or the thoughts and the belief systems that you currently have. And you might not see that right now. You might be hearing that and be like, no way that's going to happen. Keep an open mind. This year has been unprecedented in many ways, and I think it's going to continue to have aftershocks for quite some time, especially with what's going on astrologically. And again, it's all just so fascinating, everything that has happened this year. And we do have that full moon eclipse again in your sign, and whenever you have a lunar eclipse, you see changes, you see completions, you see endings. So there could be something that you are finishing towards the end of November. Maybe some of you are finishing a semester, or maybe even graduating. For others of you, it's just finishing one chapter of your life and stepping into another one, and that could just be symbolic in some way. It might not necessarily be literal. But whenever you have an eclipse, it's almost like that lunar energy gets amplified 3 times. So it's like the potency of a full moon 3 times. So that's completions, endings, things culminating together. And we have 2 more eclipses in December, so it's kind of beginning this eclipse season, which I think speaks volumes to just how much is going to be happening with the rest of this year. So very, very interesting stuff going on. And honestly, the energy, it's pretty tense, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm just moving through this with this sort of faith, and I hope that you are as well. And I'll be very curious to see what we have in store for you. So let's start pulling some cards. As I am shuffling here, I just want to remind all of you that this is a general reading, meaning not all of these messages are going to apply to you specifically. It is up to your own intuition and discernment to figure out what applies to your own life and what should be left behind for somebody else. If you would like to take a look at one of your other videos for your moon, rising, or Venus signs, I do have a natal chart calculator in the description box down below that should be able to help you figure all of that out. And I do have the November playlist available on my YouTube channel for your convenience. So what are the messages we have in store for Sagittarius for the first half of November, and then we'll look at the second half in just a moment. Let's just kind of lay the foundation here, shall we? What are the messages for Sagittarius? Show me clearly. Sometimes they like to give me big chunks. There we go. So we have the Devil coming out together with the 9 of Wands here. We also have the 2 of Pentacles. Sorry, I know this camera can be very finicky. There we go. Kind of have to find the right spot. And then Justice here. So I feel like there is a situation right now that you are really trying to weigh out, Sagittarius. And maybe you've already been feeling like you need to make a decision with something, or you're just trying to figure out how to move forward in your life coming into this month. But there's something about this month that kind of feels like you're really getting to the point now where it's like, okay, I need to start making a decision here. I need to start being a little more decisive here. I am seeing with the Justice card, some of you are making a head over heart decision. This could also be involving a Libra. What's interesting is that I'm seeing Justice with the Devil, and it's making me think there could be something bureaucratic going on in your lives, like something with like paperwork or an application, or just something that could even be happening collectively, that is somehow impacting you pretty personally. And with the Nine of Wands, it's like you're feeling very tired. You're feeling pretty worn out. You've been kind of treading this stairwell for a while now. But it's important to keep the end goal in sight. If you're trying to figure out, do I go forward with this, or do I just kind of let this go? Interestingly, I almost feel like you're supposed to see something to completion. And this could be some sort of project, or maybe this is some sort of commitment with another person. Let's kind of pull some clarifiers, actually. What is all of this talking about? What is this Devil with the Nine of Wands here? A lot of cards are just flying out. Let's try this again. Let's just center the energy. Why are these cards here on the table? What is going on for my Sagittarians? Show me clearly, please. The World. Yeah, I kind of figured this card was going to show up for you. When we were talking about this eclipse earlier on in the video, there is a completion that you are drawing very close to. And you really are almost at the end of a cycle, and it feels like in the first half of November, it's like that last push before before some transformation finally takes place, or some progress finally happens. Something is changing for you. You can feel this transition. Maybe there's already changes that are happening for you with your home, with your career, with your relationships, with this Two of Pentacles showing up in your heart. What exactly is this about? And it's interesting, Neptune does go retrograde, or I'm sorry, it goes direct towards the end of the month, and I think that's actually like right on November 29th. But when Neptune goes retrograde, Neptune has to do with escapism, dreams, intuition, pretty much anything otherworldly. And when it goes retrograde, which it did earlier towards the middle of this year, there's almost this pulling back of the veil, and you can see things very clearly. When it goes direct, however, it's almost like the veil gets cast over your eyes again, and it could be very easy for you to kind of lose sight of things. And for you specifically, Sagittarius, I'm getting this sense that you might be dealing with some sort of addiction, or someone in your life might be dealing with some sort of addiction. That's also something that Neptune is associated with. And there could be something with relapse going on. And you might be feeling this temptation very, very strongly at the beginning of the month. And you might have overcome something, but you're still feeling kind of wounded. You're still in a transition process. You're still healing from whatever this devil was, or whoever this devil was here. And I just want to tell you, you're supposed to go into a new cycle. Don't look back. Tie up loose ends if you need to do that. But honestly, I feel like some of you are also letting some things go. You're bringing something to an end this month. Or you're in the process of doing that. 10 of Wands with the Mother of Wands, and something is blocking you from doing this. It feels like this devil energy, and honestly, it could be another fire sign, Aries, Leo, another Sagittarius. It could also be you kind of blocking yourself, maybe even a Libra energy there too, but it's almost like I'm looking at this Mother of Wands, holding on to her eggs, holding on to her wand. And with the 10 of Wands here, it's like the more you're trying to hold on to things, the harder you're making it for yourself. You're just adding more weight. You're carrying too much. And you're almost there. You're almost in this new cycle. But I get the sense that some of you, you're not quite able to move forward until you start letting some things go that no longer serve you. And this could also just be you assessing the ways that you could be sabotaging yourself. It could be looking at the ways you are showing up in your relationships. Maybe this is external, where you are cutting people out or you are removing yourself from situations. But I think it's just really important for you to weigh things out here with the Two of Pentacles. What is worth moving forward with, and what do I kind of need to leave behind? Let's pull an animal card for advice, and we'll kind of look at where all of this is going. So what are the messages for Sagittarius? Eagle. Really interesting energy. When I see the eagle, it's like you're taking a very bold step. And you might feel like, this is actually kind of a cliche Sagittarian thing to do. It's almost like you're just going to up and leave something, and you're going to just start a totally new situation or totally new life for yourself. Because when I see this eagle card, it's a big action that you're taking here. And for some of you, I actually want to say that there could be this move that is happening or that you're planning. I could sort of see that with the Two of Pentacles and even this eagle card. It's kind of a travel card to me. But it's like you're bringing too much with you. You have to figure out what you're going to bring with you. And I'm also getting this situation, if some of you are going through a breakup, specifically a divorce, actually with this Justice card, and someone is kind of holding on to stuff, and really just making this process as difficult as possible, you almost just need to let it go. and I know that's really hard to say, but it's almost like this person just wants your energy. They want the fight. They want the struggle. That's what they really want. And it feels very contentious in that way. Or contempt. That's the word that actually comes to mind. And if this isn't a divorce, it could just be someone who is kind of grasping for straws to keep you in a situation. And to be honest, Sagittarius, I think they know that you're about to move forward, you're about to move on, and they're kind of pulling whatever cards they can to make you stay. And I'm getting the sense that you know something needs to change. You're ready to take flight. You're ready to fly into something new here. You're ready to end the things that need to be ended. So let's pull some more cards here. What are the messages for my Sagittarians for the second half of November and beyond? Actually, I'm going to try that again. Show me clearly, please. Let's kind of center the energy. What are the messages for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for the second half of November? Wow. So, 9 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, and the Hermit card. And none of this is really surprising to see for me, because this 9 of Pentacles and this Ace of Pentacles here, this is telling me that there's a lot of abundance that you're going to be coming into towards the end of the month, which might seem interesting given kind of the situation we're in globally with the economy. But I feel like there's something with money coming in. Maybe it's like a birthday present or something. Or you're just building something for yourself. You're building a nest for yourself. whatever this is, it feels really good. It feels like there's a lot of stability. Some of you are actually starting, I want to say some of you are starting new work or changing career. And it's like whatever it was that was holding you up before is finally being cleared out for you. And that could even be what the eclipse is clearing out for you, some sort of blockage. A lot of the time, we get really afraid around these full moons or these eclipses because it usually means that something is ending. But if we utilize the cycles of the cosmos, we can actually really allow this to be a time of letting things go that are no longer serving us, and really release ourselves to set up new beginnings. And I do feel with this Hermit energy, a lot of you are really turning your focus inward. And it's like whoever is trying to get you to fight, or whoever it is who's kind of instigating something in your life, I feel like you're just out, Sagittarius, or that's sort of the advice for you. And with the amount of polarization that's been going on this year, it's really hard to have constructive conversations with people. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying that there hasn't even been conversations that have needed to happen this year. I think that they have definitely occurred. But a lot of the time, it's just people are so defensive of their beliefs that you're not going to be changing anybody's mind. You're not going to be changing anyone's perspective. That's just sort of what people do in times of trauma. That's just psychology, that they really hold on to things. And I think you're seeing this, Sagittarius, in yourself, and you're kind of letting things go. You're figuring out what's actually important to you. And with all of this, all of the energies in Capricorn still, this is about what you value. And it is about money, monetary value, but it is also the things that you value morally, or the things that you prioritize in your life. And I do feel like you are making some big changes, and it's about the things that you value and care about, and it's really just a brand new beginning for you. And you're finding this light within yourself. And maybe for some of you there is an individual who is helping you do this, especially if you are contacting a Virgo or connecting with a Virgo. Maybe there's a stable beginning with them as well. But it's like you're finding the light within. You're not trying to find the light outside of yourself anymore. And that even applies to whatever this new stability is. It's like you're finding a stability inside yourself that you didn't have before. And it feels very personal. And I know sometimes it's not the most exciting or juicy tarot reading, but it does make sense. With the eclipse happening in your sign, coming into your season, this really is about you, okay? It's not so much about other people right now. And I'm actually really excited to see these cards. I'm really excited to see these shifts that are taking place for you. So let me know in the comments what exactly this is looking like. Maybe even sharing in the comment section, what is something you're going to be letting go of for the full moon. Writing that out can be a great way to kind of identify that, and maybe even doing a ritual around that time for you. And for those of you who do have your birthdays around that month as well, it's going to be even more significant to you. I would actually Google the exact degree of this full moon eclipse in Sagittarius on November 30th. That could really give you a sense of how exactly that's going to affect you. If you look at your natal chart and see where that falls, what house that falls in, that's also going to give you a lot of clues. So what do we have for Sagittarius? What else do we have? Let's clarify some things here before we pull the animal card. So we do have an Ace of Swords. Again, there's just this idea, or this eureka moment that is happening for you. And it feels like it's alone, or it's connected to this Virgo individual, especially if there is someone who's like a Virgo Libra cusp with this Mother of Swords. I gotta be honest, when I see the Mother of Swords, she's not afraid to cut people out. She's not gonna take anyone's shit. And it's not about picking a fight with people and debating with people. You're kind of over it. And whatever is happening for you, Sagittarius, it feels like you're coming into a lot of abundance. Interesting with the Hierophant here. I want to clarify, what exactly is this Hierophant representing? Seven of Wands. Huh, this is interesting because this is kind of about standing up for what you believe in. But what are the ways that you're actually going to be heard? You do need to be a little bit strategic here with the Mother of Swords. And maybe it's not as simple as saying you're not going to have certain conversations. Have boundaries, know what is going to be productive and what isn't. And also know how you are going to most effectively communicate the things that matter to you. And you might feel like you have to defend yourself, you might feel like you're backed into a corner. That might be a situation for some of you, but to be honest with you, I really just feel this very strong sense, Sagittarius, that it's not about them, this is your time. This is you figuring out what you're doing with your life and how you want to live it. It actually feels like a spiritual thing, which is interesting. It feels like there's a difference in spiritual perspectives, which isn't what I would necessarily expect given this month. But it's almost like this ideological difference. Tiger actually tried coming out earlier, just a moment ago, so this card is really speaking to you. And there really is this need to pull back, because Tiger kind of moves through the shadows. It goes unseen, unnoticed. It may strike from time to time, but when I see this card, it's really important to actually get in touch with your inner silence, the stillness. And if your mind is very responsive or reactive to what's going on around you, you might need to pull away. That might mean taking some time away from social media, or spending some time out in nature. However that looks for you, it's important that you are being discerning with where you're putting your energy in and what you're exposing your nervous system to, because you're very sensitive with this Tiger energy. And that's everything I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope that this was helpful for you. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it, and it helps this channel grow and allows me to continue doing this incredible work. And I will see you all in next month's video. Take care, Sagittarius. Have a happy November.